Hey everybody, I'm glad you could tune in to this week's episode of the Crazy New York Driver Show. In today's episode, I'm going to lead off by talking about the eBay Summer Seller Check-in, which came out the other day. I want to show you what I believe, and this is my opinion, is the absolute worst marketing campaign eBay has ever engaged in. I'm going to hold up a screenshot here, and then we'll talk about it in depth. But for right now, nice. Get it right. This is what happens on live TV. Take a look. My question to you guys, do you think those are the buyers that eBay should be courting? Do you think that those are the buyers that buy your items? I'm going to do a deep dive into this right now on the Crazy New York Driver Show. Hey guys, Joe DeMarco from the Crazy New York Driver Show. It's Friday evening, June 28th, 2024. Welcome to another eBay video. As I said in the brief opening statement, I'm going to do a little bit of a deep dive into the seller check-in that eBay released a couple of days ago. And I want to talk about it, and I also want to talk about some other eBay issues. So let's get right into it. In general, the eBay seller update was really one of the most bland I've ever seen in my 25 years on the platform. There was absolutely nothing substantial, either positive or negative, mentioned. There was one important factor not mentioned at all. I'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about the screenshot that I just showed you at the beginning of the video. eBay is posting that all over. It's all over Facebook. And I'd like an honest answer from you guys if you could think about this question. What are your average buyers like? Are they young? Are they middle-aged? Or are they elderly? Now that's going to depend upon the items that you sell. Let's talk about me. I sell on eBay Motors, and most of my buyers are middle-aged or elderly. When I say middle-aged, let me clarify this. I would say over 35. Over 35, I rarely sell to under 35, and locally, it's worse. And I have a little kind of a funny story I want to tell you in a minute about that. But as I was saying, I love buyers over 35 years old. Now, those of you guys that sell in, let's just say, video games, you would obviously probably disagree because your buyers are going to be under 35, and that's fine. That's totally understandable. eBay for Business posted on Facebook the other day the screenshot I just showed you. And you should see all the comments, the interesting comments that the sellers basically are asking. Not only about the various changes or lack thereof, but about the buyers. Why is eBay trying to court these younger buyers? All right? I can honestly tell you locally that people under 35 rarely come into my place, not because they don't need the items or because they don't have a car, because they do, but when they need something, they just say to their parents, "Get me this for my car." And the parents jump up and say, "Okay, I'll do it, son. You stay in bed." I'm not exaggerating. This is a true story. Also, I noticed younger people, especially the males, believe it or not, don't have the aptitude and don't know how to do certain easy repairs. Let me tell you a little funny story that you guys actually witnessed part of. At the beginning of this video, I was shooting it at work and I had planned to do the bulk of the video there. But you may have noticed somebody was coming in a Lincoln while I was broadcasting. That particular buyer needed to buy something that I had. He liked it, he bought it, but he took it to go. And I was concerned. I said, do you think you'll be able to put these on? And by the way, the buyer was 31 years old, which is extremely young for me to be dealing with. All right? 31 years old. And I said, listen, I really wish you would have brought the car here, but the car's not running or whatever. He said he could put them on. 20 minutes later, he calls me up. I can't put them on. He's frantic. He can't put the freaking things on the wheel. And he's got a rubber hammer. They're easy as pie to put on. He offers me $50. I'm not lying. $50 to come to his house and put them on for him. Well, he didn't have to ask me twice. I said, you got it. I said, I can't leave right now. I'm not shutting down just to come do that, but I'll do it tomorrow morning. However, about 4 hours later, he texted me back and he told me he got one of his neighbors to do it, which is fine with me, all right? One less thing I have to do tomorrow. But I just thought it was interesting, and I think it works into the topic that I'm discussing right now about the younger buyers on eBay. Please don't say that I'm against younger buyers, because I'm not. I'm just saying that I don't see them in eBay Motors. And I've talked to my constituents, and they don't see them either. Let's now talk more about the summer seller update. eBay has been touting the fact that they're now accepting Venmo. But on the other hand, they no longer accept American Express. This, I feel, big thumbs down. And this goes back to what I was just talking about. Almost everybody has an American Express card, especially a lot of older people. Whereas everybody that has Venmo is basically under 30. And that goes back to the problem I'm just talking about with the under 30 crowd not spending on eBay Motors. So personally, and this is only personally, I don't think this is a good thing. How do you guys feel about that? Feel free to mention it in the comments below. One thing they did not mention at all in the summer seller update was this big feedback change that they were touting. I'm going to spend quite a bit of time on this right now because I got to shake my head in disbelief with some people, all right? About 3 weeks ago, I made a video, and I was one of the first persons to break this news where eBay said they were going to start removing unfair negative feedback for cancellations. Meaning, a person buys your item and then wants to cancel. And if you do not cancel and they leave you negative feedback saying seller refused to cancel, eBay will remove that. That is a fact, and I stand by it. At the time, eBay stated that there would be a total of 12 possible scenarios they would remove unfair negative feedback. But to this day, June 28th, they have not mentioned one of them. Now here's where the problem comes into play. Quite a few people, and I'm going to be a little bit too blunt, blunter than some of you guys are used to. Some of you guys, also people in the Facebook groups, and some people who emailed me, heard this news and took their chin and they stuck it right out like that, and they led with their chin and started calling eBay thinking that they had carte blanche to get unfair negative feedback removed now. You don't have it. It ain't gonna happen. Don't waste your time. Just like all of you found out who tried calling eBay thinking that you had a golden ticket. You don't have it, okay? Somebody in Paraguay won, okay? So yeah, you don't have a golden freaking ticket. eBay's not removing anything. Somebody even went as far as to mention another YouTuber who does some eBay videos, and they said, well, he said they would be removing. He never said that. I looked at his video and I watched it, and he said exactly what I said. He said they'd remove it when people want to cancel and if you don't honor the cancellation. And he also said that he heard there was going to be a total of 12 reasons, but nobody knows what these reasons are. So, hopefully for the last time, let me reiterate. Nothing has changed with unfair, negative feedback. eBay will not lift a finger to help you. If somebody tries to cancel, that's a different story. You don't have to cancel. You can ship your item because they entered into a binding contract. That brings up two more sub-points. If you're a fan of the channel and you've been watching my videos, you may remember, I guess 3 weeks ago, I told you the story about two different buyers from the great state of Texas who bought my items, paid. I waited a few hours, boxed them up, label, boxed in the car, and then between 6 and 12 hours later, they went like this. Look, cancel my sale. Cancel it. You slave, they said to me. Well, they didn't say slave, but that's the feeling I got. Well, guess what? I told you I didn't cancel either one. One was $50, one was $20. That's $70. 4 weeks ago. You want to know how many of those were returned? 0. And if it goes past the 30-day returns, I won't accept the return. No, not happening. Guys, I want to talk a little bit now about binding contracts. I just told you how when a person does the buy it now, they're entering into a binding contract. But let me tell you something that's going to affect you auction sellers, and not in a positive way. In the past, when a person won your item through auctions, they were entering into a binding contract. Now, sometimes they paid and sometimes they didn't. If they didn't pay, obviously you would go through the unpaid item case ritual, and maybe they'd get a strike and maybe they wouldn't. But according to the new Summer Seller newsletter, they are no longer binding contracts when a person wins your item. Now let me walk you through this. I don't want anybody running pell-mell like they did last time with misinformation. Listen to cute Joey. You start your item at $10. Let's just say it's an item you think is going to be worth $100, but you started at $10. And the people keep bidding it up. Oh yeah, this is great, 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 great. And it goes up to $105, let's just say. The auction's about to end. 10 seconds later, Johnny come lately comes swooping in and bids $110. And he wins the item. Wow, $110, this is great. The auction ends with Johnny as the winner. No binding contract will be in effect at that time. eBay is not going to hold the buyer responsible for ending into a binding contract unless the buyer decides to pay. If the buyer does click pay now and pays you for the item, you guys have established a binding contract. If the buyer decides not to pay, oh well, better luck next time. Ludicrous as this sounds, I don't sell in auction format, so it's not going to hurt Joey, all right? It ain't going to hurt him. But for you guys who do, It's going to hurt you, especially with the sniping. Sniping was something I always engaged in because it's the best way to get a deal. And I really think sniping is a good thing. And if you guys are looking to get good deals, I would always recommend it. However, you must pay for the items that you agree to purchase, even though eBay is not going to hold you accountable anymore. This is odd. Nothing else I can say, but it's odd. As far as the rest of the summer seller update, really, there's not a lot worth talking about. Most of the stuff has been hashed and rehashed over again. I would say I'm basically ambivalent to everything. There was nothing really good, and there was nothing really bad. All right? I did see two things that were negative, as I said earlier in the video. Not huge negatives, but negative. One was the accepting Venmo instead of American Express. My buyers don't have Venmo. If yours do, God bless you, man. Good for you. Good for you, man. But mine don't. I don't have Venmo, all right? I really think only people under 30 have that. And I was also very disappointed that to this point, eBay has not addressed any reasons they're going to remove unfair negative feedback. Nothing has changed. For Christ's sake, guys, please, please, I implore you, do not call eBay thinking they're going to remove it. Even if somebody says in writing, if you don't give me back a partial refund of $15, I'm going to leave you negative feedback. You'll be swinging in the wind, my friend. There was another post on Facebook yesterday where a seller, posted in the blocked eBay bidders group, and they said that they had sold something to someone. For argument's sake, let's say it's $30. And the person got the item and it was chipped. And they were ripping mad and they said, I want $15 back or I'm going to leave you negative feedback. And the seller said, no reason for that. Send me the cup back. I think it was a cup. Send me the cup back. I'll give you all your money back. And the buyer said, no way. I'm keeping this. I want $15 back. The seller held their ground, and the buyer left the negative feedback, and eBay refused to remove it. It's the buyer's privilege to state how they feel and the opinion of how the transaction went. Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I feel sellers should have a voice too. I know for a fact eBay is never going to let us leave negative feedback for buyers, even when it's warranted. But I am noticing something. The voice of the disgruntled seller is getting louder and louder in that regard. People are really sick of being screwed over and not being able to voice their opinion. Sales this week were actually quite decent. I really don't have anything to complain in that regard, but I am getting inundated with eBay nag messages. It's to the point that maybe one message out of every 4 is a nag message from eBay. When I hear that piano music, there should be only 2 things. It should be either somebody sending me a best offer, or it should be a customer or potential customer with a legit question. Either is acceptable. I am getting nag messages up the wazoo from eBay. Just last night, I was looking for some things to buy so I could flip them locally. Within only a few hours, the nag messages started rolling in. Recently viewed. Why do I need to be reminded what I recently viewed? I know what I recently viewed. The only time a nag message should come in is if it's in my watch list and it's ending in 15 minutes. That's legit. But this other stuff is just crazy. And the emails, oh my God, so-and-so item is still available. Bid to win. Or have a problem with your item? Free returns. Just one thing after the other. You know, nag, 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 to quote Harry Callahan. Nag, nag, nag. So yeah, believe it or not, returns. Did I even have any this week? I have one return where the guy waited to the 27th day of the 30 days before putting it in the mailbox. Why? I don't know. People love to stretch that out to the very end. I don't return items, but if I did, I can tell you I would return it right away. So yeah, that's that. That being said, guys, I'm Crazy New York Driver, you're not. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys found my video entertaining and enlightening. Please comment upon any of the eBay topics that I brought up, or any eBay topic you want to bring up. I hope that you make a lot of sales this week on eBay. Rock on, and peace.